So it took me about 10 years to realize that option Greeks pretty much have no value whatsoever. If you're a retail trader and all you do is go on Robinhood and say, oh my God, what's the Greeks? What's the Delta? What's the Theta? This means I should do the contract. This is a percent chance of profit. You're getting options all wrong. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to break down some of the most popular Greeks, why they suck, why there's minimal value in them, and a better strategy to build a $1.2 million account just like I built right here. First thing we're going to do, we're just going to go straight over to Robinhood and we'll just break it down. So, what we're doing first is we're going to go sell a put option with an expiration date of 32 days from right now. Now, the first thing that we're going to take a look at is if you just click on it, we'll go to the $610 put is what we're going to sell. If I hit the plus sign here, you can see that we're going to collect roughly $704 in premium by doing this trade right here. And we'll scroll down to the Greeks. The first thing that I want to talk about is the delta. We're going to spend more time on the delta than any of the other Greeks out there because it's the most popular one. So let's just start there. And here's the thing that most people get wrong about delta. They say, oh, it's 0.29. What that means is there's a 29% chance that this contract is going to expire in the money. In the money. But if you go right up here on Robinhood and it says right here, percent chance that you're going to make profit, it's 75%. Usually this percent chance of profit is just the inverse of this, but we don't need to get into the weeds with that stuff. We need to get into the weeds of what is delta and why does so many people trust this so much of like, hey, it's a 29% chance going into money. That means there's a 70% chance that I'm going to make money. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into delta right now because again, so many people just make blind trades and say, oh my God, the delta, it looks really good. There's like a 5% chance this contract's going to go in the money. It doesn't always work out like that because there are major, major problems with delta that most retail traders simply don't understand. So we're going to cover all that stuff, all these hard lessons that I've learned in the last 10 years. We're going to cover that with delta. We're also going to go into theta. If you are an option buyer or an option seller, which that's all you could really do, you have to understand how theta works because theta talks about the time value of these contracts. So whether you're buying option or selling an option, you have to understand how that dynamic works. So let's go into delta first. So let's take a look at this chart right here for delta. This is the thing that most people get wrong. They're like, oh yeah, delta, it's good. It's a percent chance of profit. But let's take a look at what's actually being factored into that delta to figure out what is the percent chance of profit. We got the directionality first. That's like, hey, I think the stock's going to go up. That's a percent chance the stock's going to go up based on the historical performance of the stock. The time value, how much time is left in a contract? That factors in 2% chance of profit because if you have more time for something to happen versus less time, hey, maybe that's more likely you make a profit. Volatility, how has the stock historically been on a volatility scale? Is it a very high volatile stock like Tesla, or is it a stable stock like 3M or something boring like that? That gets factored in. Interest rates. Are interest rates expected to go up? Are they expected to go down? Where are they currently at? That gets factored into delta also. But let's just think about this logically and really use that thing between our two ears. It's like, hey, these four things definitely matter. I'm not going to debate that. They do matter. But what is it not factoring in? Like, think about an investor. Don't think about an option trader. Don't think like a speculator right now. Think about a true investor. What is this stuff not factoring in? Let's just use the company of Apple, for example. Is this factoring in Apple's top line revenue growth? Is this factoring in their earnings per share growth? Is this factoring in if a new iPhone's coming out? Is this factoring in if Samsung's coming out with a new iPhone that's going to crush the iPhone? How are you possibly going to use delta to know your percent chance of profit if you don't know that stuff? Like, what if a new iPhone is coming out and it's going to crush it and it's going to wipe out all the competition, take out everything? There's probably a high chance the stock's going to go up if that's going to be coming out, right? Possibly. But it's like, what if it's on a flip side again, if something bad is going to happen? None of that stuff is factored in. And it's like, you guys know the thing that moves the price of a stock in the long run, like the number one thing I talk about all the time on this channel. It's what the profits of the company are doing. That's what moves the price of a stock in the long term. Like, yes, some of this stuff does matter right here. Like, interest rates honestly matter the most out of all of it. But it's like, what does historical volatility really have anything to do with what a stock is going to do in the long term? Like, Apple stock is volatile. Nvidia stock is volatile, Microsoft stock is volatile, but that doesn't mean the share price doesn't go up in the long term. The stock follows what the earnings per share does in the long term. So simply looking at delta and saying I'm going to make a trade based on that, it is crazy to think like that because you're just like looking through this with like a microscope and saying I'm only going to focus on these four things right here. You're missing the big picture of what really moves the stock price in the long term. It's the earnings per share growth, the revenue growth, the fundamentals. That stuff is what matters the most right here. And on top of that, like, let's just go into one thing that I have on Discord that just shows you all the research that I truly do into companies. I have this thing called a scorecard here. I go through valuations, the growth, the moat, the execution risk, the sentiment, the macro. We go through an economic scorecard of all these different economic reports that I break down, scale the economy, bull bear scale, assignment value, all these intrinsic values and stuff like that. On top of that, like, there's all these detailed breakdowns, all these calculators that I have to get the true intrinsic value of a company. If the company comes in cheap, hey, maybe we make a play. I do all these thesis videos. Every single company that I hold, I do a video for, breaking everything down. Like, this is the type of research that it really takes to make an informed investment decision. Like, think about all of those key metrics right there, just very high level, really quick. Like, is any of that factored into the delta? None of that is factored into the delta. How can you possibly know with a high degree of confidence which way a stock is likely to go if you don't know any of that stuff? Like, think about it right here. Just stop and think for a second. You are a retail options trader. You think that you're going to look at these 4 things and make more money than the institutions, more money than the hedge funds, which they don't even beat the S&P 500 in the long term, most of them. So it's not really even saying much. But you think that you have an edge on them because you went on Robinhood and your delta said that you're going to make money? Like, are you serious right now? Like, just go look at your historical ROI. I guarantee you that maybe in the last couple of years you did beat the S&P because it's been like going, the market's been going straight up. But dude, when you have your first event through a bear market, you are going to get absolutely crushed because you're looking at your theta and you're looking at your delta and saying, oh yeah, dude, like, this is probably what's going to happen. You went in some trading group and it says, oh yeah, the delta's good. It's 0.1. Like, we have a 90% chance of making money. Dude, you're not going to make money doing that in the long term. Okay, so that is my little rant on delta. Please be very careful with it. Again, I'm not saying that there is zero value in it. There is some value in it, but I'm saying it's literally like 1 to 2% of the entire puzzle of trying to make a good investment. Because again, you got to know the directionality of where the stock's going to go. If you don't know where it's going to go, don't buy the stock from the get-go. And if you don't know where the stock is likely to go, definitely don't take a magnified bet with stock options. That is like very, very dumb to do. And that's why most retail investors lose money. But again, you guys know I live in Vegas. The Vegas Strip is popping right now. Why? Because people are dumb. They want instant gratification and they want to go try to turn $100 into $1,000. Okay, so let's dive into Theta, which is one of the other big dogs on the Greeks. Same contract right here as before in Robinhood. So again, we're selling the put option. So we have Theta right here of 17 cents. So essentially what this means is the contract is going to go down in value by roughly 17 cents per day if nothing else changes. Now think about that. If nothing else changes. Is there always something that's changing? Is the share price always moving around? Is there news coming out? Is there fundamentals changing? Is there whatever happening in the real world? There's never going to be a scenario where nothing changes. But for the example right here, just to show you guys that this stuff doesn't really work that well, I'm going to bring it all together in a second here. I'm just giving you the information right now. This is saying that 17 cents per day is what this contract's going to fall by. Now, this is a $704 contract because remember, everything is multiplied by 100 with option contracts. So this is going to be $17 per day. $17 per day is what this contract's going to go down by every single day. Now, we're selling an option right here. We want the contract to go down in value because we want to sell this for $704 and then we want to be able to buy it back for way less than that or let it expire worthless. So people will say, oh, well, I'm going to go do an option contract when I go sell a put option. I want the theta to be super, super high because that means every single day I make more money. That is how the typical retail investor thinks. But there is a major problem with that, and I'll cover that in just a second. Now, for the other Greeks that are left, like Gamma, Vega, and Rho, like, there's really no value in going into them because I just don't think they really move the needle at all. Delta and Theta are by far the 2 big dogs. Now, to go into like step 2 of this video, of why is Delta and Theta really not valuable, let's think about this high level right now. What is Delta and what is Theta basing itself on? Think about it. These are derivatives. That's what options are called, derivatives. That means they derive from something. That means they derive from the share price of something doing something. So if we don't know if a stock is likely to go up or if a stock is likely to go down, why on earth would you make a magnified bet with options? Because that's what options are. People just go look at options and say, oh, I want to get something with a good delta and a good theta, and then I'm going to make a bunch of money. But they're missing the point of, I don't have a clue what the actual stock price is going to do. I don't know if Apple's going to go up. I don't know if Apple's going to go down. I just know that this random metric on Robinhood says I have a 14% chance of this contract going into money. And they just leave it at that. And then if they want to go one step further and look smart, they say, oh, the theta, there's a, this contract's going to go down by $17 per day. I'm going to sell a put. And in 2 days from right now, I'm going to make $17 times 2 because that's what's going to happen. Nothing else in the real world is going to change. Of course, that's not going to work out like that. Investing in theory is easy. Investing in a real world is much, much harder. So again, just to be very, very clear, if you don't have a clue what the directionality of the stock is going to be in the time frame that you think it's going to happen in, your delta is going to be worthless, your theta is going to be worthless, and all of these other Greeks are going to be worthless. You have to have a very high degree of confidence which way a stock is likely to go and the time frame that it's going to happen in. When you do all these short duration contracts like this 32-day one right now, dude, I have no clue what the stock price is going to do in 32 days. And you will realize after doing this for 10 years like me, you will realize that nobody knows what the stock market is going to do in 32 days. Nobody. So when you're doing all these short duration contracts, betting on all these Greeks that really have no value, you're going to realize why you can't consistently make money year after year after year. Maybe in a raging bull market, like, dude, look at the chart right here of the NASDAQ. This is a 5-year chart. Dude, this NASDAQ has been literally going straight up into the moon. There has been some volatility, but dude, look at what's been happening in the last few years in the market. Literally up over 140%. Like anything you do in options on a bullish side of it is probably going to make money if you do it right. So is it like, are you getting lucky with your Greeks or are you really being skillful because everything's just going straight up? You got to understand that stuff. And another thing that just really needs to be said right now, and I know you might want to click off the video right now because you get it, Brandon doesn't like Greeks, but just roll with me on a little bit right here. This is more about just options in general because I know you want to make money with options. We all do. Here's the thing about it. Again, if you don't know with a high degree of confidence which direction a stock is likely to go, you shouldn't buy the shares from the get-go. Don't even buy the stock. It's okay to not know in the stock market. I don't know about everything, and if I don't know, the answer is a no, because I want to have ultra high confidence in anything that I do in the stock market. So what most people do is they're like, oh, I don't know, I like SoFi stock, it's been going up and I think it's going to keep going up, so that's why they buy the stock. And then they say, oh, well, I'm going to go look at my delta. It says I'm 14% chance of losing money. I'm going to go do that option contract right there. The theta, sure, it looks good. Like I'm going to make money because theta says I'm not going to lose a lot of money per day if I buy this call option. But again, they're starting out with not a high margin of safety in that trade from buying the shares from the get-go. But then they take it to step number 2 and they say, hey, I'm going to go buy call options for 1 month out, and maybe I'm going to run this through earnings, or I'm just going to run it through a random period of time for 1 month, and I'm going to make money because of X, Y, and Z. It's been going up. The delta says it's good. The theta says I'm not going to lose a lot of money per day because of the time value going down. And then they go do these trades, and they realize, like, I've been losing money time and time again making all these crazy trades, not being consistent with it. And meanwhile, if I would have just went out and simply bought the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, like, dude, the NASDAQ in the last 3 years is up 140%. You could have made one purchase right here, did nothing, and beat all of these crazy option strategies that you're trying to do. So again, in all my videos, I always talk about, like, if what you're doing is not beating the S&P or the NASDAQ in the long term, you are wasting your time. Like, why would you want to do more work and get paid less? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody in the real world would actually want to do that. And I know why you do it. Because it's exciting to make a trade. It's exciting to have 3 screens set up and look at the delta, look at the theta, look at all these different things that you don't really even understand. You don't even know what's factored into delta until you probably watch this video. Now you're like, oh my God, I'm missing the whole boat. I'm missing the EPS growth. Like, that's the number one thing that moves the price of a stock in the long term. Yes, that is what moves the price of a stock in the long term. Period. That is the number one thing, hands down. And here you are looking at this microscopic thing called delta and saying you are an investor. You are not even close to an investor. Warren Buffett probably doesn't even know what delta is, to be honest with you. He does not look at that stuff. The key to make money in the stock market in the long term is buying good companies at good prices and being patient through the volatility. When Mr. Market comes and knocks on your front door and says, hey, do you want to buy this stock for this price right here and it's really cheap? Sure, I'll buy it from you. Hey, do you want to sell your stock to me when it's all the way up here and it's not worth that much? Sure, you go and you sell it to him. That is what investing is all about. Investing is not about looking at something that says you have a 14% chance of profit and betting the house on it that you have an 86% chance of making money. You don't want to do that stuff. This is not where the money is at in the long term. Like, guys, like, I built my $1.2 million account. Let me get myself out of the way. Like, I built my $1.2 million account doing zero with Greeks. Like, starting out, I try to do the Greeks. I try to do the day trading. I try to do all this crazy stuff. But you will realize when you're a more mature investor, when you spend a few times through a bull market, a few cycles through a bear market, you will realize that your option Greeks, They tell nothing about what the stock is going to do. And if you rely on option Greeks, you are going to lose money in the long term. And just again, to kind of send this home of what actually moves the price of stocks in the long term and how to capitalize and truly make money with this stuff and beat what you're doing, beat the market and do this stuff the right way. Let's flip through a couple companies really quick. This is Apple. This is a 5-year chart of Apple. Notice how the share price is up and to the right in a very bumpy way. This is 4 years of earnings per share, basically the same time frame overlaid right here. Notice how the earnings per share is going up and to the right. Earnings per share up and to the right. The stock is up and to the right. Let's do another one. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Notice how NVIDIA's earnings per share started to explode right here. Notice how the share price also started to explode right here. Kind of a coincidence, huh? Let's look at Microsoft now. Notice how Microsoft EPS is up and to the right. Notice how the share price is up and to the right. Notice how there's a little bit of a break right here on EPS. It didn't really do that much. Notice how the share price also took a little bit of a break right there too. Kind of a coincidence, huh? EPS shows where the stock is going to go in the long term. EPS matters the most. Let's look at the flip side. 5-year chart right here of Boeing. Everybody used to talk about Boeing when the share price was going up. Now that the share price doesn't really do much, nobody seems to care about it. That's just how typical retail investors think. Share price didn't really do anything in the last 5 years. EPS also didn't really do anything in the last 5 years. Notice how they reported pretty bad right here, the share price went down. Notice how they reported pretty bad right here, the share price went down. This is what moves the price of stocks in the long term, guys. It's what the profits of the companies are doing. So when you orient yourself with the profits going up and you buy at a good price, that is where the big money is at. I know this is a chart of the NASDAQ, but it doesn't matter what any company is. This line right here corresponds to the theoretical earnings per share going up and to the right. When you buy down here, the stock is clearly below this earnings per share growth line. It is undervalued. When you buy up here, it is clearly overvalued. Your delta, your theta, all that stuff that you're looking at, it knows nothing about the valuation of the company. It knows nothing about if you're buying at a bubble or if you're buying at a discount. It knows nothing about that stuff. And again, if we take a look at this chart, it's the EPS line plotted over top of the S&P 500. This is for 10 years. Notice how these lines kind of move in tandem. The EPS is going up and to the right. The share price is going up and to the right. But when share price goes a little bit above the EPS line, hey, maybe the future expected returns aren't too good. Hey, maybe when the share price gets above the EPS line, hey, maybe the future expected returns aren't going to be that good because it's kind of like priced in up here. The market's already priced in. How much higher can a valuation actually get? EPS goes up, the share price will follow it, but we're already above where the actual earnings per share growth line's at. Down here, hey, maybe the stock market's undervalued because the earnings per share line is above where the actual stock price is at. This was a good time to buy. Look at where the market went from there. No, this is not a metric that I can look back on and say, oh yeah, hindsight's always 2020. I am telling you right now at the time of this video, the market is a little bit expensive. It is obvious and it is clear. There's no surprise that Warren Buffett has so much money in cash at Berkshire. He's not really the head of Berkshire anymore. But you get my point. There's less opportunities out there, so it does warrant to be cautious right now. Your delta, your theta, and your option Greeks, they factor in none of this stuff. So when you're ready to stop being a retail investor that loses money and want to learn my entire investing system start to finish, go watch this video right here. It's going to show you how I do stocks, how I do options, when to buy, when to sell options, when to buy options, all that good stuff. Watch this video right here. It's going to help you out a lot, and I'll see you guys there.